Two of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few hitters I'd look to drop this week. The first guy, Adam Duvall of the Boston Red Sox. At Duvall, he's been off to a roaring start the first week and a half, but now broke his wrist diving for a ball in Sunday's ball game, and on the season he was off, like I said, to that red-hot start. 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, 11 runs scored, a .455 batting average, and a .514 on base. So right here, smoking hot start for Duvall, no doubt about it, but this wrist injury definitely could be a 2 or 3 month type of deal here for Adam Duvall, and he's going through more tests as well. So the last few games here before he went down, April 3rd versus the Pirates, 2 for 3 with a run and a rib. April 4th versus Pittsburgh, 0 for 4. April 6th at Detroit, 1 for 3 in that one with a homer, 3 RBIs. April 8th at Detroit, 3 for 5 in that one, a homer, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored. And April 9th, before he got hurt in that ball game, 1 for 4. So right now, Adam Duvall banged up with the wrist injury. He's definitely going to be out for a long period of time. And this is a guy, obviously, that a couple seasons ago hit 38 home runs. But last year was a down year for him. But now with this bad injury, he's a guy would drop because we don't know if it was just a fluky hot start of the season. And he's usually 220, 230 hitter, but he will show pop. Is Duvall. But right now, owned in 83% of fantasy leagues. He's a hitter I would drop this week. The next guy, Seth Brown of the Oakland Athletics. So Seth Brown, another guy who had a good season last year and one of the best hitters on the A-team, even though that's not saying much. And so far in the season, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored, 6 for 30 from the plate, a stolen base, a .200 average with a .250 on base. But now Brown, he's been put on the injured list with a strained oblique, and we know those oblique strains could take very long to heal. It's like Brown has a lot of power, where the power comes from your whole body and the obliques as well. He's definitely not a guy would hold on to with a slow start, and a guy on a team where there's not much protection in the lineup. So the last few games here for him before he went on the injured list: April 3rd versus Cleveland, 2 for 5, a homer, 2 RBIs. April 4th versus Cleveland, 1 for 4. April 5th versus Cleveland, 0 for 4. April 7th at Tampa, 1 for 4 with a run. And April 8th at Tampa, 0 for 2 in that ball game. So struggling besides the point that he got hurt is Seth Brown. And now with the injury, he's an easy guy to drop this week here, but he is still owned in 40% of leagues. Next guy's his teammate, Esteury Ruiz of the Oakland Athletics. So Ruiz, a former San Diego Padre, and so far he's off to a slow start, as well as Ruiz. And like I said, this A-team, they don't got a lot of protection, and a lot of young guys here with not a lot of major league experience as well on the season. No home runs, 3 RBIs, a stolen base, 3 runs scored, a .207 average, but a .324 on base, which I'll give him is definitely solid here compared to the on-base to batting average ratio here for Ruiz. So the last few games for him: April 4th versus Cleveland, 1 for 3 with a rib. April 5th versus Cleveland, 0 for 3. April 7th at Tampa Bay, 1 for 3 with a run and a stolen base. April 8th at Tampa, 1 for 4. April 9th at Tampa, 0 for 3 in that one. So right here, not hitting much of the baseball, not driving in runs, obviously, is Ruiz. And he's another guy just like Brown was, owned in 40% of fantasy leagues. But right now, he's not getting the job done. And I know a lot of fantasy owners, they're patient early on the season, but I feel like you got to take that quick approach with some of these players here, because we've seen some good guys on the waiver wire you get added over the year, and they're guys that could be helping your team for the whole season. So right now, if you got some of these struggling guys and you're hesitant, I think this would be the time to drop them. And if you do drop them, you definitely keep an eye on them, and if they get things going again, you pick them up. But right now, Ruiz is a drop. The next guy's Colton Wong of the Seattle Mariners. So Wong, he's been struggling so far this season, and he's been a guy that's bounced around the league over the last few seasons with the Cardinals, Brewers, and now here with the Seattle Mariners. And on the season here for Wong, no home runs, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored, 2 for 27 from the plate, a .074 batting average, and a .212 on base. I know second base is a weak position, but Wong, he's moved down in the order for the Seattle Mariners team, and he's also not versing lefties in the lineup as well here when lefties pitch. So right now, with all those factors in, I think he's an easy drop this week here, is Colton Wong. April 5th versus the Angels, 0 for 3. April 7th at the Guardians, 0 for 3. April 8th at the Guardians, 0 for 4. And April 9th at the Guardians, 1 for 4 with an RBI, and he sat out in that April 10th ball game at the Cubs. So right here, not getting enough playing time, not producing, and he's an easy drop this week here, is Colton Wong. Still owned in 37% of fantasy leagues. And the fifth and final hitter I'd look to drop this week here is Oscar Gonzalez of the Cleveland Guardians. So Oscar Gonzalez, he's been in and out of the lineup as well here, is Gonzalez. And last season, he had a pretty decent season in half a year up with the Guardians in terms of batting average and on-base percentage. But so far this season, we've seen nothing from him, and he hasn't even drawn a walk as well here is Oscar Gonzalez. On the season, 5 for 31, 3 runs scored, no homers, no RBIs, 161 average and a 161 on base. So right now, he's definitely struggling, is Oscar Gonzalez. Not hitting the ball as well. The only thing is he's still putting the ball in play, but he's had weak contact, and now he's been sitting a few games as well. April 4th at Oakland, 1 for 4 with a run. April 5th at Oakland, 1 for 5 with a run. April 7th versus Seattle, 0 for 4. April 8th versus Seattle, 1 for 4. And April 9th in a pinch hit appearance versus Seattle, 0 for 1. And April 10th versus the Yankees, he sat that one out. So right now the playing time inconsistent. The production isn't there. And Gonzalez is a guy would drop right now and still own the 52% of fantasy leagues. That's a few hitters I look to drop here early in the season for week 2 of the fantasy baseball season.